Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Rose. I am 17 years old and I am a recent graduate from West Orange High School in New Jersey. Today I am proudly representing the Oranges in the Maplewood branch of the NAACP Axel program. My category today is architecture and I will present Yaki House, which is translated to grill house. It's meant to be a play on pun with most naming conventions for restaurants over there in Japan. These are the topics I'll be going over. As for my inspiration, I gained the idea for Yaki House off a case study I've done in my senior year of high school in my independent study of architecture, and it is based in the region of Hokkaido. The case study, titled Evolution of Hokkaido Homes, worked to give me the basis of an understanding for construction of buildings in the region, helping me flow smoothly into making my own design. Leading to the want of challenging myself into designing a multi-use building, a restaurant inspired by my place of work, I designed it to be a friendly and inviting environment with a second floor residency for the practicality of a family-run okonomiyaki, which is seafood pancake, one of my favorites, restaurant. As for my goals, I want to integrate my design within the rural farming town of Biratori. As Yaki House becoming an accurate, fully functioning restaurant and an owner-occupied mixed-use building. Accessibility being seen throughout the ground floor of Yaki House, bringing over the American idea of a place for everybody in architecture, which is something they do not have really over there in Japan. As Yaki House was designed with practical materials that fell under the right building codes in Japan, made from reinforced concrete and metal roofing for its continued protection against the elements and its given warmth. As it is also found with sustainable practices integrated indoors with energy efficient plumbing, heated floors for its resident floor, and insulation throughout. Challenges I've come across in my research are making Yaki House practical and functional, as I had to delve into specifics of structural engineering to make my foundation structurally sound. As it's led me into research in American, Japanese, and international building codes, and with different specifics for my building, such as ADA in America and its equivalent in Japan. The specifics influenced by Biratori's setting, being in the Ikeda Mountains, in its river valley, which was bordered by the Sar River. This geographical setting producing many environmental challenges such as earthquakes, landslides, flooding, and heavy snowfall, while I luckily avoid the mainland's many typhoons or hurricanes that they are known here. As the major environmental challenge being snow management, yet it was a quick fix for my design with a slope roofing of 18 degrees, higher than the required slope roofing of 16 degrees. As for my design overview, the ground floor hosting the restaurant Yaki House, serving 40 patrons in an open and inviting environment. The second floor functioned as the owner's private residence, maximizing functionality and sustainability in a compact layout, maintaining comfort and natural lighting. The exterior containing accessibility parking on-site, as general parking across the bridge and sidewalks built on-site for accessibility and ease access. As I'll be moving on to my site plan. Seen to the south, which if you look at the true north, south on my site would be north. As seen to the south is the general parking, housing all the needs for the parking in the commercial district, which it is located right next to. As Yaki House being located on 47 Honcho in the Saro district of Hokkaido, it is going down a side road off the main street, as it is replacing the original structure found on the site. As contained to the west of my building, the accessibility parking, as to the east is the loading and disposal, as it also acts as the parking for the owner. While further to the northeast, a previous building from the past owners, the family sets to utilize for farming purposes. The site being perfect with the foot traffic from the farms to the east, community center right across the street on Biratori's main road of As moving on to my floor plan, you find if you enter through the front of the house, which is located on the accessibility side parking, you will see right to the sides the tatami rooms, which are straw mats laid on the floor, which is to host parties, to create an environment for the community. As there is a bar which contains a tempon, which is a flat grill that they cook okonomiyaki on. There's 2 accessible bathrooms, 3 means of egress, 2 public, 2 for the public to use, and 1 private for the residents. As I move up the stairs, the landing continues into the building as it is a traditional genkan, which is a Japanese-style mudroom, which is just a simple step up in that expands on the landing. As the house itself contains a nice open living room with a connected office, a kitchen space with a walk-in pantry, and right down in the corner by the living room, a guest bathroom, which itself I decided to make compact and sustainable with a toilet sink combo, which reuses the sink water to flush the toilet. As the residency also contains 3 bedrooms, 2 for the children and 1 for the parents, a washer dryer, utilities, and a bathroom with a disconnected wet room, which holds the bath and the shower. As there's also a rooftop patio utilizing space to create their own private kind of getaway from everything else. Here I move on to my elevations. As my exterior, I decided to use certain materials that help protect against the elements. With the concrete walls being protected by stucco, which works to keep moisture and snow out from getting into the concrete itself. As the metal roofing is made out of galvalume, which is a blend of metals made specifically to just have metals have snow slide right off and avoid the whole worry of dead weight on top of snow. As I move on to my sections, in the main section here, you can find the interior of Yaki House with how the restaurant itself is set up in the front of the house. As to the second floor, you can see the bedrooms, you can see the living room, and you can see the powder room itself. As for the side sections, you can see a bit more to the home rooms and the inner workings, as I also added the stairs. As with the stairs themselves, they are a bit steep due to how it was built. So for safety reasons, I added double railing to stay up to code to make sure they're safe no matter what. As with the small wall detailing and the floors on the second floor, the flooring works off radiant heating, which utilizes copper pipes built into the floor to keep water running throughout, to keep your feet warm, to keep costs low, as constant running water keeps the drains from getting clogged or frozen, especially in the snowy environment. And it works overall to maintain the health of the family. In conclusion, Yaki House works to integrate cultural research into the environment around Beeratory, the environment itself, with how to protect itself against the elements, the function design As I work directly with the climate and the culture with how the people are around, while balancing public and private functions within a single structure. As Yaki House, I worked to make sure it was practical and cohesive with how I wanted to have a strong influence, emphasis on the community and how people are inside. Make sure they're warm, make sure they're happy to come to this restaurant and enjoy their time there with their family. Thank y'all for listening. I can move on if you'd like to see my model. Sorry for making y'all do a lot of walking back and forth.
No, it's good. It's cold in here. Good.
Hope you're all right. I'm happy to give you more in depth. With the model itself, I made out of chalkboard, which I cut out. I used a laser cutter on my school to cut it out. I really do want to make a physical model because I do want to show all the windows within the show. Because I very much work to make sure there has been a lot of natural light. Because of the environment in Hokkaido is very cold. It's cold and snowy most year round. So I want to get as much sun as you can to keep you, when you're sitting down to eat, you're always warm no matter what. So there's always windows throughout. As mainly in the front of the house, there's a ton of windows.
Can you talk about the different sizes of windows and how you decided to place them across?
These are where the tatami rooms are. parties and all that, and to like, because I want this to be like a cornerstone of the community, because it's a rural village, so people are very interconnected. So when they come visit, they look through the window like, oh, I know some people in there, I'm gonna stop by for a chat, I'm gonna come eat, I'm gonna bring my family. Say you haven't seen a relative in a while, if you're at this your favorite restaurant, I'm gonna head on in and go toss room. I want people to be seen looking in. I want it to be open, so I want giant windows for the front of the house. People always looking in and out, sun always coming in. As for the second floor, I wanted to keep the living room kind of open because the living room is very like small in itself because of the half wall and having to like connect to the powder room and the office space. So I use floor to ceiling to make sure it was open and sliding doors here. So you just have like a comfortable like it's like disconnected from it down so you can kind of comfortably go out to the patio like however you want. As these were the windows for the children's room, I had space in, so I decided to give another window to the kids. Because how I thought of it, they have very, very different personalities. That kid likes the sun more, for sure. And this being the master bedroom, I gave more windows. I just really like natural lighting, and especially with how cold it is, I think it's always great to just have warmth and all that. Especially because they are restaurant workers, so they're getting up like the crack of dawn to get out and prep everything that they need. So sunlight to come wake them up naturally is very great for them. As these are practical for the windows for ventilation. And yeah, I actually want to show off the extra doors. This is where this is the site where they enter through. They would enter through here to the accessibility parking or general parking across the road. So they will enter through the big doors, or also because I'm more worried about fires. If they're even having trouble with that, they can always go right through here. And when I built the doors, I made sure they're like definitely bigger that wheelchairs can come in and out. So there's no worry about what if they can't go to the front door, a wheelchair's trapped, or they have to go around, they have to go grab something. It's all accessible. I made sure of that. Because unlike America, they are not very accessible. And I thought that was something to work on.
Can you talk about the decision for the site?
For the site? For the site, I chose it because I already decided I wanted to move to Hokkaido off like the case study I did. So I was researching what are some places that I very much like to build in the area. I like rural villages in general because I see how the population is going down, so there's a lot more like need for accessibility. So I came across this town. I saw their mascot. I very much liked it. It's a tomato bowl. I love it. It also has an item museum, which my case study was based on, that's located near it. So I'm very sure like, oh, this will get a lot of foot traffic. Not just from the rural people, you'll also get scientists coming in. They have a very popular farm here that got popular online, so you're gonna have tourists coming in too. So it's a great place to just like commercialize.
And so the existing buildings around, is this relative, is the scale relative to other buildings, or is this fairly larger, fairly smaller?
It's fairly, I see it's a lot larger than the building that was on here. It's because this site, like I looked at older like years, there was a lot more buildings here, but as the time went on, the buildings got deconstructed, like decommissioned, they got broken down. There was more than one building here. And so I just like, nobody was using the building, it was abandoned because it's a rural town. They're getting abandoned, very, like a lot happening over there. So I decided to like just break it down. The whole site itself is very empty besides for the forest in the back. So I decided to utilize all the space because if someone comes to buy the property, they're buying all that space. Because it's like all that remains is really just this. There's a small house here, and then a little farm here, which I decided to utilize as a family being able to grow their own goods. Because it's like a giant rural town. There's a ton of goods all around. People like farms, so it's great for a restaurant.
So all of those buildings right there, what are those?
These are small residential homes. While over here, this is the main street. So there's a ton of more restaurants as you go farther down. There's a giant community center here, and then like smaller stores, like general stores here.
Okay. So most of the residences and buildings are relatively close than what would typically be considered a rural town for them.
It's this is directly the commercial street. The Spiritory itself, it's a small rural town, but it's one of the bigger towns around. Like it's where people go through to connect to the other smaller ones, which have a lot less people. As for this, it's very like condensed because this is the commercial district. Outside of it, there's a ton of they're more scattered around. It's just that the commercial district they decided to build to just kind of like have all the businesses together to make it like walkable. So I can very much like. What else I have?
Can you talk about the idea of a river next to your site? Is there any consideration to that, or?
for that, the river is like just built into it's in the town itself. I remember hearing earlier, like before, they're like, why don't you put it out towards the street? The river itself, it's like a lower elevation, so the river just kind of works to like go around, they're building around it, because some rivers are very important, because it is a farming town, they need the running water, so they can't build over it, they can't build around it. They just have to like let it flow through naturally.
And you're saying it goes down, so what,
Yeah.
you're kind of, which side is Riverside?
This is Riverside. This is
Yeah.
So is it, something that's nice to look at when you're doing it?
Yeah, very much so. It's a small river right next to it, as like you have the rest of the town over there. Because this is the parking lot, so there's barely any cars there. So that's why like I want to utilize it, because with like it's kinda like America, if there's a parking lot close enough, you don't have to build like a lot of parking spaces on site. So it's very much the same there, so like there's a ton of parking space. It's very open, so when you're in there you can look out to the main street. Look out over here with like people coming up from the houses, all that. It's very centered. And I saw this empty space in a very centered area, and I'm surprised it wasn't being used at all by the people there.
How did the choice of concrete impact the site?
Oh, with concrete, it was kind of something I really had to use, because in Japan, like, through their codes, because they have very high seismic activity, they make it to where you need concrete. Like here, I have strip footing and everything. That was like very much decided there, because like going to the codes, you have to have strip footing. It has to be made out of concrete, specifically because they are in a cold area. They're like the northern tip of Japan.
So these adjacent structures are
They're
these
all concrete. They're all concrete. So like yeah, all the buildings are concrete. They're because of the colonialism, they dealt with like a lot of fires in the past. So when concrete became like mainstream, they went full in on it. That's kind of why like places like Tokyo fully made out of concrete. Modern buildings are made out of concrete no matter what. Because it's not as sustainable as wood would be, but it's very like low cost and very like easily buildable, like to keep upkeep, all that.
Is it like poured in place concrete? Is it precast? It just seems like the site would be a little tricky, because you have like the river, it seems like that side road is kind of narrow. Like how do you have like a cement mixer? Like how do you logistically build on that site?
The site itself. I know for the bridge, that itself is like a metal bridge they put up like elevated above. So like it's kind of like slanted going over the river itself.
Okay.
So it's not like it's made out of metal, it's not made out of concrete.
It's like a
Just like-
pedestrian bridge?
Yeah, it's a pedestrian bridge. For the site itself.
So for the upstairs, I see that you just got the stair that's going up, and then you have the door that's going in. Around how many people is gonna be living upstairs?
I decided on 4, just like a simple family.
Okay.
Because they have a low birth rate, so there's not that many kids, so I decided on just 2 kids.
Okay. And so is that the only exit?
That is the only exit, yeah. I do know like fire escapes, all that. I've read through like what they have. They don't have much on it. I was wondering that too, like fire escapes, but for like with their building law, they don't talk much on fire. Though for fire safety for them, is really just making the house out of concrete and just condensing the fire. They're really about like worried about like what gets out.
So what's the floor made out of?
The floor itself is made out of wood, while the walls are made out of concrete and both drywall, ridgeboard, and concrete, like reinforced concrete.
I think something we could explore further is when I think of Japanese architecture, I think of like beautifully detailed. Like I think things are thought out, how do they come together, like joinery, blueprints and things like that. Especially I think in the restaurant, that could be a good place to put some more like details that are unique to the site or unique to people. Okay, thank you.
No, sorry. Yeah, it's because of like modern architecture in Japan is very brutalist. Like they moved away from like the whole like how pretty the buildings look, all that. They do that on the interiors, but like for the exteriors, it's very brutalist. So I do like